Okay, good. Very good. So we'll kick right into it. And okay, so hello, my name is Tom Paolino, and I am the executive producer and lead actor in One of the Good Ones, which is based on the true events of the life of my very special guest, Vincent Scarsella from Lackawanna, New York. Uh, Lackawanna is a portion of the city of Buffalo, New York. And Vinny, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. How you
Hi,
doing?
Tom. I'm doing great. Well, I'm talking to you from East Aurora, New York, which is a suburb about 25 minutes south of Buffalo. It's a very nice, quaint village community and an artsy and New England feel to it. And we're spending the spring, summer, and early fall here. We have a home, as you know, down in Port Charlotte, Florida, near Sarasota and Fort Myers area. And we get away from the heat and then we get away from the cold in the wintertime. So we're here now and spending time with our three children and nine grandchildren who all live up in the Buffalo area. So
Nine grandchildren.
yeah. Well, seven of them are natural, and then we have two step grandchildren, but they're part of the family. They're our grandchildren. So
And
yeah.
I hear you cook up some good sauce for these kids.
We do the sauce on a regular basis and some other meals that we cook up, and the family gets together, and it's great. So we're actually renting a 5 bedroom, 3,000 square foot house with my daughter and her children. She has four, and the youngest is a terrible 2 year old. So we're putting up with that and loving it, and yeah, so we're here. This house was built in 1860, so it's got a lot of charm.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chapter of life. And after all of that intensity at the lawyer's discipline office, so for 18 years, Vincent was the deputy chief counsel of the
And you
lawyer.
finally got that right. You
That's
always
right. I worked on that. Deputy chief counsel. And you, what, you investigated what,
right.
15,000 complaints?
Yeah, I started in 1989 and ended up finishing there in 2008. And in those 18 plus years, I saw about 15,000 complaints come in against lawyers practicing in Western New York, really the Fourth Department area, which is Buffalo, Niagara Falls, even the southern tier. So, I mean, most of the complaints, 95% of them were dismissed. There's no basis to them. A lot of clients just get upset with the length of time lawsuits take, and they're not happy with the result. And usually they're in an unhappy situation anyways, that's got them involved with hiring a lawyer. So, so yeah, most of them were baseless. They're without merit, and so we would look at them obviously and investigate. But then there was that 5% that there was something there, and we had to further review the matter and go from there. And sometimes it resulted in a problem for the lawyer, and that could result in his or her disbarment, suspension from practice, or public censure. So that happened from time to time, and sadly. And a lot of those problems were related to substance abuse issues that the attorneys, being a lawyer is a very stressful occupation. You're dealing with disgruntled people on all ends, okay? The clients, other lawyers who are representing clients on the other side, and judges. And it's stressful, and so results in alcohol and drug abuse, which is pretty high in the profession. I think the last time I looked, and I haven't read anything recently, it was about 14% of lawyers had some sort of a substance abuse problem. And it's all related to, and plus you're running, not only dealing with the law and handling clients, but you're running a business. So that's why I stayed in government practice
Yeah.
because it's so hectic and
Yeah.
stressful.
Wow. And you're writing the whole time, right? You're
Yeah,
writing.
I've been writing since I was a teenager, basically, and really got into it in college and wrote and wrote and wrote and then mostly short stories, and I got into novels I got into plays eventually that some of them have been produced at colleges and community theaters. And then screenplays is relatively new. But when I was with at Grievance, I would watch the TV shows, lawyer shows, the stuff that you were in. And I always like said, oh, I could do better than that, you know. So I thought what we did at Grievance would make a fascinating concept for a TV series. So I wrote a television treatment in those days, just like on a Word document, and sent it to a few places. Of course, it didn't go anywhere. And but I had a whole thing designed, and Dean Alessi was back. We're talking the mid '90s, mid to late
Wow.
'90s,
So Dean
and
Alessi, just for the folks at home, Dean Alessi is the character I play
right, he's the
uh,
hero of it. Yeah,
in one of the good ones, and it's loosely based on Vincent's own experience as the deputy chief counsel. He's referring to it as grievance. But it's the same idea. The lawyer's discipline office was the
right.
grievance
I mean,
department.
I think I wanted to make it clearer what we were talking about, what the office did. Grievance is sort of it's difficult to tie it to. So I made it clear as possible that it's the lawyer discipline office, so you know what you're dealing with. And so I developed that, and it really didn't go anywhere. I didn't even write a script or anything. I just had the idea, and then I don't know. After I retired, as a sort of cathartic type exercise, I wrote a novel called Lawyers Gone Bad. And the novel then became a second novel. Now there's four in the series, and all based upon investigations conducted by Dean Alessi, the hero, into lawyer misconduct, and his sidekick, chief investigator Stu
Hugh
Foley,
Foley,
and who actually is based upon a good friend of mine who was chief investigator at my office, a guy by the name of Bill
Bill
Zanoski,
Zanoski, the great Bill Zanoski,
who
who I
was a
just
great
love.
investigator, who was a private investigator for a while. He's really good at the job of investigation and finding things and digging, as we used to like to call it. But so yeah, so then I had the novels, and they're self-published, and they did fairly well, and they still sell some, and they get some good reviews, over
Great reviews.
450 reviews. And so then I said, well, I'm going to get back to the screenwriting stuff. I've got some plays. I know, I kind of got the feel for it. And so I wrote a pilot script. It wasn't great. It was back in August of 2022. And then I was saying, well, now what do I do? And Facebook is a wonderful device for networking. And so I reached out to you on my birthday, November 10th
November
of
10th,
2022,
2022. I
to
still
be
have the
etched in
Facebook message.
infamy, for a long time. And you responded. You're one of the rare people who actually got back to me and said, "Yeah, I'll take a look at it." And then it grew from there into, we had this idea for a TV series, and we're going to do a pilot. We did a couple Zoom stage
Greetings.
readings, and then I think you had the bright idea of turning it into a feature film, which I found it very difficult to write a TV series because you're expanding. The novel was pretty concise and had a beginning, middle, and end. And a TV series, you're going off on tangents, and it was quite difficult. And
Yeah.
so we decided to go with the feature film idea back in, I think it was February of 2024.
Yeah.
And it's become one of the good ones, which is, and I guess, in final stages of
It will be
post-production.
done today. It will be done today. So to connect the dots, it's a fascinating. I'm so glad we're doing this. It's so fascinating to hear everything because this has been a 3 year. In November, we'll have known each other
Years.
three
Yeah.
years, and uh, and to hear the story again, it's so interesting. Vinny is correct. We in February of 2024, we pivoted to the feature film concept, and on February 24th of this year, we started shooting our feature film, one of the good ones, in Buffalo. We shot for 9 days, and just 3 weeks ago, I went back to Buffalo because the distributor that we like wanted us to add 10 minutes to the film. And now we've got an 85-minute film, including credits, 10 days total of shooting. And the film will be done tonight. Color correction, sound design, credits rolling with the final song. Um, Music, the whole 9 yards will be done today. Um, and we're submitting to the Sundance Film Festival, Dances with Films, South by Southwest, and Slam Dance this month, the 15th, 16th, 19th, and 22nd. And then I have 10 other festivals that I'm interested in, and the distributor that I mentioned, plus another one that want to see the film right away. So we've really come so far with it, and it all started with that Facebook message on your birthday, November 10th,
And
20.
actually, I think from what I have learned now about the industry, um, was rather quick. I mean, it seemed like a long time, but to do something like this in 2.5 years, basically, is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and at the amount of the budget amount and everything worked out well. And yeah, I mean, and actually, I learned a lot from you and in the process, and I'm trying to do it again with another film that
I
I
know
wrote.
you are. And what is that new film you've got?
It's called Local Talent. It's a dramedy. It's some comic elements about a guy who gets conned by a phony film producer who picks up on this idea. He's got an idea to make a remake of Baywatch on not in Malibu, but on the shores of Lake Erie using plus size lifeguards. So he cons the guy into doing a sizzle reel, and it's from the idea of a friend of mine, an actor friend of mine from Lakeland that you know. God, I'm losing my mind here. I forgot his name. Eric Daniel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great guy.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Eric, I forgot your name for a minute, but that's a senior moment, so that's not his. But yeah, he had this idea, and really didn't develop it. He said, "You go ahead and do it. You're the writer," So I came up with this local talent thing, and I've hooked up actually with a guy who's editing one of the good ones, Bill Murray, I've become good friends with now, and we're working together to get this thing shot. But yeah, it developed, and a lot of this stuff, a lot of things we're doing is based upon some of the things I learned from my experience with you and one of the good ones.
Yes, Bill Murray from B3 Productions, who is our first assistant director and also co-editor. Um, Amazing guy, Bill Murray the third. And now wait a minute, let me see if I understand this correctly. There's a phony film producer who made a sizzle reel, and I haven't mentioned this, but we made a sizzle reel on
About the same time as I
April
started writing
8th
this.
of 2023. So is there any connection here between
No.
phony producer?
No, there isn't. I mean, it's just coincidence. But
Coincidence. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
it's not based upon you, but the idea sort of germinated from that experience. And because the sizzle reel and local talent, they collect a lot of money. They collect about $60,000, but the sizzle reel costs a pittance. It costs nothing, and it's done terribly on some beach scenes. And so then the con man, whose name is Vincent walks away with the money. So the hard part of that is I'm trying to get investors to invest money in a show that's about a con to get investors investing money. So they look at me askance sometimes, but yeah. So in fact, we're having a thing on an investor forum like we did with one of the good ones when it was called Lawyers Gone Bad back in May of 2024.
That's
We're
right.
having it on September 23rd of this year, and it's at DePaulo's once again. Dennis DePaulo owns
Amazing
a
guy.
restaurant, and he's very enthusiastic about film, which I never knew until I got involved in this. Dennis and I go way back, played Little League together, played fast pitch softball and football at Lackawanna High School. And he's very well-known restaurateur in
Sure.
Western New York area and very well loved, his family. And his dad was a pro wrestler, back in the 60s
Ilio.
and Ilio. And so yeah, so he's helping me along here with locations and some of the same things he did with one of the good ones. And
Yeah. Well, I'll
so
tell you,
yeah.
we're going to have a trailer of one of the good ones ready probably before September 23rd. So if you want to screen that trailer at the fundraiser for local talent, let me know because you can say, hey, this is my first, this is my first film. You're one of the makers of the film and wrote, co-wrote the film and it's inspired by your life. So that I mean I had a fundraiser on May 6th of 2024 at DePaulo's, and I bet a lot of the same people will be there, and you can say, here's the trailer
Oh,
from one of the good ones, my first film.
okay. Yeah. I'll yeah, get it to me. Well, Bill will, is going to be there as well. So he's got a lot of connections with that, and I'm sure he's going to be involved in. I don't know if he's editing the trailer or
He is
helping.
editing the trailer, so
So
yeah.
I can, I'll talk to him if there's permission needed or something that,
Yeah, I trust
we'll
Bill.
be fine with it.
He'll
Yeah.
represent, and you guys will represent it, I'm sure, accurately and stuff like that. It I haven't seen the trailer yet, but we're getting the film itself finished, like I said, today, and
I
then
love the poster.
we got the poster
Yeah.
and we got the film, and then yeah, they'll need a week or two to do the trailer, and it should be ready in time, man. That'll be fun.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So things are moving for you in the film world.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's the hard, as you know, from Lawyers Gone Bad slash one of the good ones, one of the hardest thing is to finance it. And so getting people to invest in a project is not easy. And I mean, it's well known in the industry. I mean, I saw many YouTube videos on how people try to gain financing. And it's a difficult process and
Mhm.
time consuming and frustrating sometimes. And but yeah, it's rewarding when you do. We've gotten over 14,000 right now towards a budget that we think is going to be about 75,000. So we're starting to, and we have some other leads going on right now. So
Amazing.
things are looking. We're probably not going to shoot because it's a beach movie.
Yeah.
And in Buffalo, I mean, it's not the whole thing's not. There's three major scenes at the beach. It's an outdoor film
Yeah.
about a Baywatch remake, basically is a underlying issue involved in it. So we can't do it in Buffalo in November, December, so it's got to be something that's going to probably be shot next summer, June or July, we're hoping,
Yeah.
as possible, depending on financing and whatnot.
Exciting, exciting stuff. And uh Bill is going to direct. Bill Murray the third will
Yes. Yeah,
direct.
he's going to direct it, right.
Great, great, great. Well, I'll tell you, for you folks at home, having raised the money single-handedly for one of the good ones, I did have some help on the Sizzle GoFundMe. We started with GoFundMe,
Right.
raised $18,000 to make the Sizzle reel, which I mentioned was shot on April 8th, 2023, and then took the footage from the Sizzle reel, which was 4 minutes and 17 seconds. I took that footage and used it to raise money for the feature. And at the fundraiser on May 6th of 2024, we screened the trailer. Um, and I can tell you that I never pitch the plot when I raise money for independent films. I pitch what it means to me emotionally. And I'm very specific about what one of the good ones means to me. And that is why I believe we raised the money for it because they can read about the plot in the pitch deck, they can read the log line, the synopsis, they can read the script. But what they don't get in those pieces of documentation is the emotional power of what's driving the person behind the film. And so I hope that Bill, I believe in Bill Murray the third. He's a very passionate guy and a real diamond film person in right there in Buffalo.
The,
Yeah,
the whole thing about local talent, I don't want to get off the topic here, but local talent's about dreamers, people who have a dream that want to pursue it, and this con man preys on that dream.
right.
And so, it's akin to like an Ed Wood type movie or Waiting for Guffman. Uh,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's true to my heart because, I'm a long time, I've been writing for 50 years and I really never made the big time. I've done okay. But so there's a little bit of that drive and me in the script because I that's part of me. I mean, you're trying to make it big and you're thwarted and the movie has an ending to it that's uplifting and I always wanted to do that. It's kind of ambiguous but uplifting at the same time. So yeah, and that's sort of like one of the good ones. I mean, it's the corruption in the system and fighting against it and winning at the end and sort of so
Amazing. Amazing. Well,
yeah.
I'm I know that you and I share a fascination for Ernest Becker, who wrote an amazing book
Yes.
called Denial of Death.
Death, right.
Um, and the concept of denial of death is that people distract themselves with any number of things because we're all so petrified of the unknown, particularly what happens after this earthly experience, and um, and that fear is in itself corrosive, right? And we've seen this over and over again. It leads people to corruption, internal corruption. I always think of it as internal corruption that grows to the outside world. So someone starts to tell a little lie here and there. Uh, and Mark Twain said it best, it's best not to lie because then you don't have to remember each of those past lies. The point is that these stories are necessary, particularly now, I believe, because we're in a time when corruption is more rampant than ever. Um, and, um, it's not about preaching. I don't think that is effective, but it's important to get the conversation going. I know for one of the good ones, what I'm interested in is that people are way more sensitive to each other than we like to admit. So when, for example, a district attorney breaks a promise to the public, everybody's heart sinks a little bit. And if you turn to your phone or pornography or alcohol or excess sugar, that doesn't help, right? It's like if you're grieving over this or that, it's important to um, process that grief in a healthy way. And connected to that is this notion that you can't just blow it off. We can really hurt each other because we're still those infants in that nursery. When one infant cries, we all feel that. So I'm glad to know that there's another story being told about um, triumph over corruption, beginning with uh, the corruption that starts within.
Right, exactly. And in both stories Buffalo is a major character, which is an interesting thing. Both in one of the good ones, Buffalo becomes kind of the heart and soul of the story because it happens there. And same with local talent, where the Buffalo's the city of almost. We almost won a Super Bowl. But although this year we might,
They looked good the other night, boy.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
see the game, but I've been reading about it. Yeah.
so that's part of the story too. I mean, it's a hard charging city, but it's always like pushed down, and they keep getting up. We keep getting up, and um, so we have guys like Baby Joe Messi, the heavyweight contender, who almost was champion, although a physical problem took it away from him, and he's very interested in acting in this film. And he almost acted in, but he was unavailable
Right.
the time when we wanted to shoot him. Sort of, I guess, as a more cameo role, but he was unavailable for it. So, but I got to be friends with him, uh, and uh, and so it's continued on. And now he's hopefully going to be in local talent. And recently also reached out to Rob Ray, and Rob is also interested
Love it.
in playing a role. So yeah, we've sort of, so it's all those connections
Yeah.
that were established through Lawyers Gone Bad, then one of the good ones that are still here. And it's a fascinating process, and we'll see where it goes.
I mean, it really feels to me like we're on the cusp of something really exciting, and it's exciting now. I mean, and that there's movement, there's momentum, and you're absolutely right. Buffalo is a character in one of the good ones. In fact, Dean Alessi is the personification of the fortitude that is Buffalo. I always think of Dean as the Rocky of the justice system, and yeah, he keeps getting up. He's bloody, he's bruised, he's it's the triumph of the human spirit. And Judge Penny Wolfgang, Supreme Court judge from the state of New York, said it best that Buffalo is fortitude. And um, you know, I love everything about this. And Baby Joe's a great guy. He hosted our fundraiser
Right.
at DePaulo's on May 6th of 2024, and and did a great job. He really set the tone. We raised a bunch of money that night, and he really
Right.
got on that stage with that mic and said, "I see a lot of projects come through, and this is the real thing." So, are you going to get him to host your event?
Well, we're gonna do three or four scene stage readings, and he's gonna be in one of them. So in a way, he'll host it. I mean, he's connected to the film along with Dennis and Rob Ray. So yeah, he wants to play. I actually wrote a part for him as a boxer. He doesn't want to play that. He wants to play this detective.
Oh,
So
great.
we did a table read a couple of months ago, and he did very well. And Bill was impressed with him. Obviously I don't have any experience in casting or anything like that. And so Bill thought he did very well. And so he's going to read for a detective that's kind of a sourpuss but funny guy, and he likes the role. And so we're thinking of Rob Ray to play the boxer. So
Amazing. Brilliant. Brilliant. Rob Ray, folks in Buffalo will know who that is, and
oh yeah,
lots of folks know Rob. He
he's a
was,
legend.
yes, the Buffalo Sabre NHL legend, now sportscaster for the
Right.
Sabres, and played himself in one of the good ones, and did a terrific job. Really funny performance.
Well, I mean, those guys are natural entertainers anyways. Guys like Baby Joe and Rob. I mean, Rob was an enforcer, but he was a decent hockey player. I mean, he
Yep.
really could play, but his role was to make sure to protect you know, the scorers, and because you're a hockey guy,
Yep.
and so that was his role. But he can play too, and so but now he's become his second career is as a commentator, and he does a great job at that. So he can't be there on the 23rd because the Sabres have an exhibition preseason game that day, and he's going to be announcing that. But he's very interested. I sent him the script, and we'll see what he can do with the role of Rocco Rinelli, who's
Rocco Ranelli. What a great name, Vin.
so it's uh it's going to be fun if we pull it off. I mean, but yeah, as you know, there's always like the rug underneath your feet, and so you're hoping it goes, and the dream is there, and hopefully the dream will be realized, and as yours was, and mine with one of the good ones actually being filmed and shot, and here we are at the end stage of post production, and done in kind of record time. I mean, it was only March, 6th or something, and it's only, how many months later, 6 months later, and you're ready to go. So
Amazing, amazing team. Just And I'll tell you, we got very, very lucky on so many levels. And yeah, I'm happy to share, if folks want to email me, tompaulino@gmail.com, some of the lessons I learned. You couldn't be in better hands than you are with Bill Murray the third. He's got a whole one of the very luckiest things we got, Vin, was his team, Jameson, Naminga,
He's on our
Adam
production team
Berg,
too. Yeah,
and
he's yeah.
Tyler, his Kalinowski, his lighting guy. They just they're like they had made at that point several I think over 10 short films, and then one of the good ones was the first feature film. um, and they're like a team that had cohesion in place already, and we just got very lucky because they took that cohesive team onto our set, and they just did a terrific job. So
So
um,
we're tapping into that as well with local talent because
yeah.
he's bringing Jameson and there's another guy, Connor Gresson, I think is how you say his last name, who are on a production team, and he's developing. We're developing the team. So we're in early stages of development, but just raising money, getting the team together, starting to cast. So we'll be hopefully there by next May and June and ready to go. And
So exciting.
the beach scenes are slapstick scenes, it's going to be fun to produce. And Greg Robbins, as you know, is going to hopefully be associated with this as well as he does the stunt
Stunts.
direction and all that. So we'll see where it goes. So some of the same crew that were responsible for developing one of the good ones will be involved in this as well, which is interesting at how the connection of the two movies is established. Yeah, it's going to become established. So we'll
Well,
see.
look, I hear what you're saying about how the other waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I'm going through a similar experience. I have a beautiful young girlfriend now, to be honest, and the film is being done today. I'm 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 living, more positively than ever, and more abundance than ever. And I am sitting here thinking, um, when is this all going to come crashing down? But I just try to take it one breath at a time, and do the next indicated thing. Like, be here now with you, uh, count the blessings that I have. I got this, I'll show you I got this little cat here. There's my little cat. There she, you can see her little eyes there.
Oh,
And this is a lovely conversation. You and I have become close friends after, uh, you know, you go through things together and you get closer, and we and yeah, and then you go on to do another film with the team, and I want to come back to Buffalo and do more films. I mean, the people of Buffalo made one of the good ones possible. It's a miracle how that film came together, and I'm sure that and so you just it's really the people. Then the people make it. I had to um I have to say that I made some tough choices along the way with personnel, and it was scary and sometimes sad, but my instinct was that it's a living organism, and my job is to protect the culture of the organism called the one of the good ones. So if there was someone, I mean, if there was someone who I liked as a person, but I felt um, had that inner corruption we mentioned, and no real solution or consciousness around that there was even a problem, that person was removed from the atmosphere of the film. And I did it in pre-production, and I did it during production once, actually. So and I hope you have someone, well, you do, in Bill Murray the third, who has the guts and the clarity to say, not in my house.
Yeah, we meet regularly. I try to the team concept because I'm a sports guy too, like you are. I find it works well, and regular meetings, and where we discuss issues and we bounce things off each other, disagree sometimes, just like we had disagreements, is fine. And then you reach a solution, hopefully, and go on from there. So it's kind of a marriage, and you just have to work through these issues. And some choices are difficult, and you go on. But yeah, we the production team is starting to get together on a regular basis. I believe in keeping the momentum going
Yeah.
by having
No.
regular meetings. And well, you know that I I'm probably a workaholic. I've
Yeah,
got
but
six other projects going on right now, but
yeah.
um, so that's how you get things done. I mean, you can't just rest on your laurels. You got to keep moving
Yep.
and have an agenda and cross off things off the list and move
Yep.
on. And that's what you did, and I think that's what we did in moving towards the eventual product. That's a completed film. I mean, that's an accomplishment in its own right, if you ask
Yeah.
me, that you completed a film. And hopefully the gods will be with us and move to bigger and better things,
Yeah.
especially for the investors, because you have to keep them in mind. I mean, the people are putting out their hard-earned cash
Yep.
and you're in belief in you, and so you have a responsibility to them to do the best you can,
Yeah.
and as you know. But so, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a responsibility that sometimes is heavy, weighs heavy on your mind. It's like,
For sure.
okay,
Yeah. No, we had, um, and I'll tell you, as the captain of the ship, I made some honest mistakes. And that was, I think, one of the things I learned in my research of leadership is that at some point someone said the best leaders are the ones that say, I blew it
right.
and admit it openly and clearly that they made a mistake because what you see a lot of times is a leader who makes a mistake is afraid to admit it, and then it compounds and just proliferates in a really negative, again, corrosive way, and it just get. But it's okay to make honest mistakes, It's and I learned that. Um, on this and then integrate what I learned. In fact, um, I am integrating what I learned right now. We have so that's an opportunity. For me, it's always an opportunity to learn. As long as I'm learning, as you say, I'm moving forward and uh, and I have a good feeling about it. I think very highly of Bill and Jameson and his whole team there. So um, the sky's the limit. You've got a great concept, um, and it's so absurd and so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks to Eric Daniel. Anyways,
Now is
I
Eric going to act in it too? Because he's a
no, unfortunately, well, it's all going to be Buffalo. And he's down in Lakeland, Florida, as a state trooper now.
yeah.
He became a state trooper, so he's pretty busy, and he just got married recently, and he's really a good actor too. I mean, it's just a shame almost. He's been in like three or four of my plays
I
as
know.
lead in different roles. I mean, he played an 18-year-old kid in a Nam, which was a Vietnam War play that we did in a couple venues in the Venice area, Lakeland. And he's versatile, and it's like almost he's like the local talent. He's like he should have been somewhere, in Hollywood or something, but you just you get trapped in your life, and you got to raise a family, and sometimes you don't make the leap. So, but I still he's not done yet. I don't think he's
No,
done
no,
yet.
I mean, he could retire in a few years and have a whole second
Right,
career. Yeah.
right. I mean, it's sort of, I mean, I'm 70 now, and even though my doctor says I don't look a day over 60, But and I was insulted by that. I said, wait a minute, 70 is a new 50. What are you talking? But so yeah, I mean, I worked hard and I was busy investigating bad lawyers and raising a family. I had three children who were very active. My youngest son was a pro hockey player for a while.
Yeah,
Now he's making tons of money as a certified financial planner. But so and and they had kids, and so you're busy, and you got to find time. And it's great. That's why retirement has been great for me because I have 3, 4 hours in the morning. I'm writing, and then then family stuff comes in and other things. But
yeah,
so it's yeah, yeah. There's always time. It's like the Colonel Sanders effect. He didn't invent the Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was, oh, I'm sorry. It's a spam risk. But
yeah.
he didn't invent the Kentucky Fried Chicken until he's in his 70s. So, it's never over till it's over.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I have. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with one of the good ones. We are, we made something original. I was at a workshop the other day with a casting director named Stephen Vincent, and he was saying that he doesn't really watch a lot of television because it's the same thing with the same people over and over, and it's just
Exactly
not
why I don't.
interesting, and he doesn't watch it as a result. And he made a film, and with Scott Glenn, uh, that's coming out soon. And he basically said he just wanted to make a film that he would want to see himself, own. And I added own myself, and that's what we did with one of the good ones. It really, there really is nothing quite like it. Um, so
Sorry about
I
that.
think I think the best thing we have going for us, but as a team, whether it be you or Bill or me, or Julie or I mean even our investors and producers like Susan Plotkin and Dennis. I mean, everyone is an original. There really is no um, carbon copies here, and Buffalo is original. Actually, as a city, it's very original. It's got a lot of very creative, innovative people, and when you bring that together,
Absolutely.
the sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
So, well, this has been really delightful. I'm so glad we had a chance to reconnect and do this. It's been fun and interesting as always. Um, I'm gonna see if you want to share anything else and before we wrap up today.
I'm just happy that I had this opportunity to talk about the film, and I've sort of been busy with this other issue going on with the local talent, and I write constantly and have too many ideas sometimes, but I'm working on a couple of novels and things like that, but and other screenplays. So it's I kind of not lost track, but kind of lost focus on one of the good ones and Lawyers Gone Bad, and again, I wasn't much I could do because you were in post production, but it's fun to see. It's going to be fun to see it, to see the finished product,
Well,
and
it won't be long now, and it all really comes back to you, Vin. You are the self-made kid from Lackawanna, New York, a hard scrabble town, and the
it's a
cards
hard
are
scrabble
stacked
town.
against
That's
you,
for
and from where I'm sitting, you've already beat the odds, and don't forget that because kids from Lackawanna who were, on the baseball diamond, in law school, in the lawyer's discipline office, working overtime and sweating the details and checking the boxes, and you know that is the movie. You are the movie. So if it wasn't for you and all of your tenacity and strength and courage and perseverance, there would be no one of the good ones. So this is my tip of the hat to Vincent Scarsella, my buddy, my
I
colleague.
appreciate it, and I appreciate you picking up the ball and running with it and getting to where it is now, almost at the goal. You're at the goal line, and we have to get it over, and I'm sure we will.
Absolutely. All right, Vince.
All
Well,
right.
God
Good talking
bless.
to you. All right. God bless. Talk to you
Good
later.
day.
All right. Bye bye.